Vayikra, Leviticus. Adonai called Moshe and spoke to him from the tent of meeting. He said, "Speak to the people of Israel. Say to them, when any of you brings an offering to Adonai, you may bring your animal offering either from the herd or from the flock. If his offering is a burnt offering from the herd, he must offer a male without defect. He is to bring it to the entrance of tent of meeting, so that it can be accepted by Adonai. He is to lay his hand upon the head of the burnt offering, and it will be accepted on his behalf to make atonement for him. He is to slaughter the young bull before Adonai, and the sons of Aaron the Kohanim are to present the blood. They are to splash the blood against all the sides of the altar, which is by the entrance to the tent of meeting. He is to skin the burnt offering and cut it in pieces. The descendants of Aaron the Kohen are to put fire on the altar and arrange the wood on the fire. The sons of Aaron the Kohanim are to arrange the pieces of the head of the fat on the wood which is on the fire of the altar. He is to wash the entrails and the lower parts of the legs with water, and the Kohen is to cause all of it to go up in smoke on the altar as a burnt offering. It is an offering made by fire, a fragrant aroma for Adonai. If his offering is from the flock, whether from the sheep or from the goats, for a burnt offering, he must offer a male without defect. He is to slaughter it on the north side of the altar before Adonai, and the sons of Adonai the Kohanim are to splash its blood against all the sides of the altar. He is to cut it into pieces, and the Kohen is to arrange them with the head and the fat on the wood which is on the fire on the altar. He is to wash the entrails and the lower parts of the legs with water, and the Kohen is to offer it all and make it go up in smoke on the altar as a burnt offering. It is an offering made by fire, a fragrant aroma for Adonai. If his offering to Adonai is a burnt offering of birds, he must offer a dove or a young pigeon. The Kohen is to bring it to the altar, snap off its head, and make it go up in smoke on the altar. Its blood is to be drained out on the side of the altar. He is to remove the food pouch and its feathers from its neck and discard it on the pile of ashes just east of the altar. He is to put it open with the wing on each side, but without tearing it in half. The Kohen is to make it to go up in smoke on the altar, on the wood, which is on the fire, as a burnt offering. It is an offering made by fire, a fragrant aroma to Adonai. Anyone who brings a grain offering to Adonai must make his offering of fine flour. He is to pour olive oil on it and to put frankincense on it. He is to bring it to the sons of Aaron the Kohanim. The Kohen is to take a handful of fine flour from it, together with its olive oil and its frankincense, and make this reminder portion go up in smoke on the altar as an offering made by fire, a fragrant aroma for Adonai. But the rest of the grain offering will belong to Aaron and his sons. It is a specially holy part of the offering for Adonai, made by fire. When you bring a grain offering which is to be baked in the oven, is to consist of either unleavened cakes made of fine flour mixed with olive oil and matzah spread with olive oil. If your offering is a grain offering cooked on a griddle, it is to consist of unleavened fine flour mixed with olive oil. You are to break it in pieces and pour olive oil on it. It is a grain offering. If your offering is a grain offering cooked in a pot, and it consists of fine flour with olive oil, you are to bring the grain offering prepared in any of these ways to Adonai. It is to be presented to the Kohen, and he is to bring it to the altar. The Kohen is to remove the remainder portion of the grain offering and make it go up in smoke on the altar as an offering made by fire, a fragrant aroma for Adonai. But the rest of the grain offering will belong to Aaron and his sons. It is especially holy, a part of the offering for Adonai made by fire. No grain offering that you bring to Adonai is to be made with leaven, because you are not to cause any leaven or honey to go up in smoke as an offering made by fire to Adonai. As an offering of first fruits, you are to bring these to Adonai, but they are not to be brought up into the altar to make fragrant aroma. You are to season every grain offering of yours with salt. Do not omit from your grain offering the salt of the covenant with your God, but offer salt with all your offerings. If you bring a grain offering of first fruits to Adonai, you are to bring as a grain offering from your first fruits kernels of grains from fresh ears, dry roasted with fire. Put olive oil in it and lay frankincense on it, and it is a grain offering. The Kohen is to cause the remainder of the portion of it, its grits and its olive oil, with all its frankincense to go up in smoke. It is an offering made by fire for Adonai. If his offering is a sacrifice of peace offerings, then, if he offers before Adonai an animal from the herd, then, no matter whether it is male or female, it is to be without defect. He is to lay his hand on the head as an offering and slaughter it at the entrance of the tent of meeting. And the sons of Aaron the Kohanim are to splash the blood against all the sides of the altar. He is to present the sacrifice of peace offerings as an offering made by fire to Adonai. It is to consist of the fat coverings of the inner organs, all the fat above the inner organs, the 2 kidneys, the fat on them near the flanks, and the coverings of the liver, which he will remove with the kidneys. Aaron's sons will make it go up in smoke on the altar on top of the burnt offerings, which is on the wood on the fire. It is an offering made by fire, fragrant aroma for Adonai. If his offering for a sacrifice of peace offerings to Adonai is from the flock, then when he offers it, no matter whether it is male or female, it must be without defect. If he brings a lamb for his offering, then he is to present it before Adonai. He is to lay his hand on the head of his offering and slaughter it at the entrance of the tent of meeting. And the sons of Aaron are to splash its blood against all the sides of the altar. From the sacrifices made as peace offerings, he is to present Adonai with an offering made by fire. It is to consist of its fat, the entire fat tail, which he will remove close to the lower backbone, the fat covering the inner organs, and all the fat above the inner organs, the 2 kidneys, the fat on the near of the flanks, and the coverings of the liver, which he will remove with the kidneys. The Kohen will make it go up in smoke on the altar. It is food, an offering made by fire to Adonai. If his offering is a goat, then he is to present it before Adonai. He is to lay his hand on its head and slaughter it in front of the tent of meeting. And the sons of Aaron are to splash its blood against all the sides of the altar. He is to present from it his offering, an offering made by fire to Adonai. It is to consist of the fat covering the inner organs, all the fat above the liver, which he will remove with the kidneys. The Kohen will make them go up in smoke on the altar. If it is food, an offering made by fire to be a fragrant aroma, all the fat belongs to Adonai. It is to be a permanent regulation throughout all your generations, whether you live, that you will eat neither fat nor blood.